Toontown Rewritten. When Disney pulled the plug on Toontown Online in 2013, fans were heartbroken, but they didn't give up. Just weeks after the shutdown, a group of dedicated players began building a fully functional revival called Toontown Rewritten. What started as a passion project quickly evolved into a full-scale resurrection, reprogramming the entire game from the ground up. They preserved the quirky humor, slapstick combat, and bright cartoon world while removing microtransactions entirely. What's more impressive? It's still completely free to play. No ads, no paid upgrades, just pure nostalgia. The fan team continues to host seasonal events, introduce new content, and even fix bugs that Disney never addressed. They've kept the game alive for over a decade now, and the player base, made up of both original fans and curious newcomers, continues to grow. It's not just a clone. It's a labor of love that proves fan passion can outlast even the biggest corporations. For many, Toontown Rewritten isn't a revival, it's the real Toontown now. LEGO Universe. LEGO Universe was one of the most ambitious online games ever made for kids. A colorful MMO where players could build, battle, and explore imaginative LEGO worlds together. But in 2012, just 2 years after launch, LEGO shut the servers down due to high costs and low player retention. For most games, that would have been the end. But LEGO Universe wasn't just any game. It had a fiercely loyal community. Years later, a group of die-hard fans began resurrecting it under the name Dark Flame Universe. Using recovered source code and countless hours of reverse engineering, the team rebuilt entire zones, missions, and gameplay systems from scratch. While still in development, the revival has made major progress and even hosted limited access testing periods for longtime fans. And they're not alone. Multiple other groups, including LU Reborn, have joined the fight to bring the game back. These projects aren't about profit. They're about preserving something that inspired creativity in an entire generation. For fans of the original, every reassembled brick is proof that LEGO Universe never truly fell apart. Club Penguin Rewritten. When Disney shut down Club Penguin in 2017 to replace it with a mobile-focused reboot, millions of players lost access to a childhood staple. But just weeks later, a team of fans launched Club Penguin Rewritten, a faithful recreation of the original game that quickly drew in over 6 million registered users. It wasn't just nostalgia. It was a fully functioning world with weekly updates, holiday events, and even custom content that expanded beyond what Disney ever did. Players returned for the mini-games, the parties, and the chaotic energy of waddling around with friends. For many, it was like time had frozen in 2008. However, the project didn't last forever. In 2022, the site was abruptly shut down by UK authorities following a copyright complaint from Disney, and its developers were reportedly arrested. Despite this, the impact of Club Penguin Rewritten was undeniable. It proved how far fans would go to keep a beloved virtual world alive. Even today, smaller clones and spin-offs still float around online, keeping the Penguin spirit alive in true underground fashion. City of Heroes Homecoming. When City of Heroes was shut down in 2012, it didn't just kill an MMO. It erased one of the most beloved superhero communities in gaming. For years, fans mourned its loss, until a secret server was discovered in 2019. Behind closed doors, a group of players had been quietly keeping the game alive. Once the news leaked, everything changed. That private server became City of Heroes Homecoming, an open and legally gray revival that brought thousands of players back overnight. The original source code had been preserved, and the Homecoming team worked relentlessly to modernize the experience with new powers, missions, and quality of life updates. What began in secrecy became a full-blown movement. Today, multiple servers exist, some run by fans, others by former devs, and the game thrives with regular updates and a passionate community. While it's still not officially licensed by NCSoft, the publisher has so far turned a blind eye. City of Heroes didn't just get a second life. It had a multiverse of fan-run rebirths, each proving that no villain could stop a player base this loyal. Star Wars Galaxies Legends. Star Wars Galaxies was a sprawling sandbox where players could live out their own Star Wars fantasies, from smuggling spice to running cantinas. But when it was shut down in 2011, fans were devastated. That's where Star Wars Galaxies Legends stepped in. This fan-run revival rebuilt the game based on its controversial New Game Enhancements version, while also restoring and expanding features from earlier builds. Over time, the Legends team added entirely new content, including planets, quests, and even expansions that the original developers never had the chance to release. The servers are stable, the player base is active, and the passion behind the project is clear in every detail. Whether you want to pilot an X-Wing or run a crafting empire, SWG Legends lets you do it all, without a subscription. Despite being unofficial, the project has quietly thrived for years. For many longtime fans, it's not just a tribute, it's the definitive way to play Star Wars Galaxies in 2025. Halo LD Recto. In 2015, Microsoft quietly tested a free-to-play Halo game in Russia called Halo Online, based on a modified version of the Halo 3 engine. It was never released globally and development was quickly abandoned, until fans got their hands on the leaked files. That's when the El Directo project was born. A team of community modders took the broken source code and turned it into a fully playable, online-capable Halo experience for PC. They added custom servers, LAN support, cosmetics, and even map editing tools, all for free. The project exploded in popularity in 2018, drawing thousands of players almost overnight. Microsoft responded by requesting development be halted, but they didn't issue takedowns, perhaps recognizing the community's passion. While El Directo no longer receives major updates, it paved the way for official PC support in the Master Chief Collection, and it remains playable through fan-maintained servers. For many PC gamers, El Directo was their first real taste of Halo multiplayer, and it proves something important. If developers don't give fans what they want, fans will just build it themselves. Save MGO. Metal Gear Online 2, the multiplayer component of Metal Gear Solid 4, shut down in 2012, leaving fans without one of the most tactical, inventive online shooters ever made. But in 2016, a group of passionate modders launched a fan project to bring it back. Called Save MGO, the revival used reverse engineering, PS3 exploits, and custom server emulation to fully restore the online experience. Against all odds, they pulled it off. Players could once again sneak, choke, and outsmart each other in classic Metal Gear fashion, complete with custom loadouts, team sneaking modes, and the unforgettable cardboard box antics. The revival even added anti-cheat measures and new quality-of-life features not present in the original. To play, users need a modified PS3 or emulator, but the community has been surprisingly active for such a niche title. Konami has never formally acknowledged the project, but fans continue to maintain and improve it. Save MGO isn't just a revival, it's a resurrection that honors Kojima's vision while proving that even stealth-based multiplayer games can find life long after their official servers go dark. Project M. When Super Smash Bros. Brawl launched on the Wii, many competitive players were disappointed by its slower pace and floatier mechanics. That led to Project M, a fan-made mod that rebalanced Brawl to feel more like Melee, complete with faster gameplay, advanced techniques, and returning characters. It became a competitive favorite, but in 2015, the original dev team abruptly shut it down, fearing legal pressure from Nintendo. Most thought that was the end, but behind the scenes, another group quietly picked up where they left off, eventually releasing Project M EX Remix. This expanded version doesn't just restore the old mod, it builds on it. With custom characters, stages, music, and alternate costumes, EX Remix has evolved into a full-blown community-built Smash game. Characters like Waluigi, Isaac, and even Goku have been added, alongside massive mechanical overhauls. Despite operating in legal gray areas, the project thrives through backchannels and private discords. For die-hard fans, EX Remix isn't just fan service, it's the ultimate expression of what Smash could be if the community was in charge. It's Melee's rebellious spiritual successor, reborn. Battlefield 2 Project Reality. Battlefield 2 defined an era of large-scale, team-based warfare, but when EA shut down its GameSpy servers in 2014, the Battlefield went silent. That didn't sit well with fans. Within months, the Revive project emerged, bringing the game back online through custom launcher tools and fan-hosted servers. Tens of thousands of players returned, and for a while, Battlefield 2 felt alive again. But it didn't stop there. Another fan project, Project Reality, took the base game and transformed it into one of the most tactical and realistic military shooters ever made. Originally a mod, Project Reality evolved into its own standalone game with entirely new weapons, factions, vehicles, and mechanics. It focuses on communication, teamwork, and authenticity over fast-paced action, and it's still being updated today. While EA eventually issued a takedown to Revive, Project Reality lives on independently and legally. These community efforts didn't just bring back Battlefield 2, they elevated it into something new entirely. In a genre full of flashy sequels, Project Reality proves that depth, teamwork, and passion can outlast even the biggest franchises. Marvel Heroes Omega Revival. Marvel Heroes was a dream come true for comic fans. A Diablo-style action RPG where you could play as everyone from Spider-Man to Doctor Strange. Developed by Gazillion Entertainment, it launched in 2013 and evolved into Marvel Heroes Omega before being abruptly shut down in 2017 following studio layoffs and licensing issues. But fans weren't ready to let it go. Within a year, modders and former players began working on a revival known as Omega Server. While limited in scope and entirely offline for legal reasons, the project aimed to rebuild the original experience piece by piece, complete with character builds, maps, and enemy encounters. Using archived assets and emulator tech, fans can explore each versions of the game, test abilities, and re-experience the looter action gameplay that made it so addictive. It's not a full revival yet, but for many, it's enough. In the absence of official support, Marvel Heroes has lived on through gameplay videos, community patches, and test environments. Even without servers, the game's spirit refuses to die, held together by the people who loved it most. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more.